God, this is a nice old lab, Steve. Why you look so distraught?
I'm really distraught, Norm. I don't know.
What's the matter?
Well, I was in the studio the other day, and I saw Russ testing Regis and Kathy Lee. I think they're trying to replace us.
Oh, no. Oh, I can't stand it anymore.
I need a drink.
No, let me... We have... I can't... I feel 100% better.
Oh, me too.
You look good, too.
And it came with a sense of humor.
You know, I feel like doing upholstery and telling a joke. Can't draw that. That's dirty. Hey, I'm Ed Feldman.
And I'm Joe Lorario.
And the name of the show is Furniture to Go. This time, we're doing a lot of finishes to furniture of one particular wood. What kind of wood is that?
Well, let's see if you can guess. No, it's not Christmas furniture. No, it's pine.
It's pine. Pine comes from lots of woods.
Yes, it does. And then when you... They take them to the mill,
right,
and you get big logs like this, right, that go through a big saw like this and cuts them in half.
Hey, wait a minute. We have some footage of that.
Well, I'm drawing. That's the intro to the footage. Look at his footage.
Look at his footage. See those guys working on that pine? The foreman's name is Saul. They call him, well, you know.
Here's a board. You get the board, you cut the board, you split the board, and then what you get, after you're done, you go to the mill house and you get the cabinet. Here's a cabinet.
Pat, I wanted a cabinet like that.
A cabinet? Did I ever show you this one? What's this?
I have no idea.
That's a sassy olive sticking out its pimento.
Droodles, he's going to sue you. Anyway, we've got lots of pieces of furniture, and they're all made out of pine.
And we got 5 different finishes to show you, so let's get going right now. What do you say?
I'd rather take a nap. Yeah, this is the one where Flaky Foon and Ruth Schwartz commit Mr. Natural to a mental hospital.
That Foon. Put that back for one. Okay. Well, we've wet all the wood down.
And what does that do? Well, that raises the hairy fibers.
The hairy fibers of the wood. See, when they manufacture this at the plant, they just take it up to 1 grit. And if you want to get a nice smooth finish.
Well, not 1 grit.
No, not number 1 grit. No. They probably use like a 220. So we're going to sand this down.
With the 220, ironically.
First, we want to wet it. So we put some water on the rag, and we wet it down, and that raises the fibers, like Ed said. And then you take 220 again, and you sand, and this cuts the fibers off and makes the wood even smoother.
And that makes it take any kind of stain even easier.
Now, if you wanted to go real crazy, and you wanted to say, let's do an oil finish, you could wet this again and then go up to like a 320 paper.
Right, and then rub in the oil finish with the sandpaper.
No, but you can do the wet and rub with the sandpaper all the way up to 600 grit. You'll have an absolutely smooth finish that you can then oil, wipe the excess off, and then wax. But we ain't going to do that.
Martha Stewart would do that.
Well, she would do it. She'd go up to 10,000 grit.
10,000? No, she'd have Raoul do it for her, let's face it.
So on our first finish...
Sets of duds or nails.
When we get done with this sanding...
And the other sanding that you want to do is to break all the edges, because
they're very sharp.
Yeah, when they put this together, they don't sand down the edges or any of the corners, so you want to break those sharp edges, or you could snag anything you're using or your fingers.
You could actually cut yourself on those too. I've done that. Hey, remember in the 60s?
Yes.
The game Mousetrap?
Yeah.
Yeah, look what I invented here. Rat Trap with all the drawers.
Whoa! Ooh, patent pending, Furniture Guys Heavy Industries. Just finishing up with a tack rag.
Rag.
Oh boy, is my face red. Well, it's actually more pasty than anything else, but after all that talk about pine, we found that this chair is maple. Well, we couldn't tell. Joe was sitting on it in the open.
You got to finish that with syrup, right?
Oh, speaking of syrup, the Northwoods, where this was made, that somebody told... No, this was not made in America. Right here, made in Slovenia. Through all that shot and shell, they managed to make some furniture. Go figure. It's maple, and we're going to finish it in the most simple way. A spit coat. Yes, indeedy. And we'll start the spit coat, which is 6 parts denatured alcohol, 1 part shellac, and we start on the undersides, up and down the legs, let it drip. We'll do the underside. We'll sand after we do this.
Stay in one spot there.
I am. And the good part about the spit coat, not only is it so very easy
It goes all over like spit.
Right, it's so very easy to do, and look at the color it will impart to the maple. It'll honey it slightly, and over time it will honey even more. Yes, it will.
It's a lot different than the amber or the orange colored
That's true.
shellac.
Do I really have to do the underside? Well, I already got it this way.
You should seal all surfaces.
Seal all surfaces. What will the spit coat do? It won't protect it a whole lot like a varnish would, but it will seal it so airborne dirt will not get in. Joe,
Yeah.
you're doing something else.
Well, I'm smelling to make sure I know which one is the alcohol, because I'm going to use an aniline dye, and I'm using a red aniline dye. This is like a saffron. What's it called? Red saffron.
I'm just mad about saffron.
Look at that. You add that into that alcohol. That's wood alcohol, denatured alcohol.
Choice of winos everywhere.
Now you got to wear gloves with this, because if you don't, my hands would look like Valentine's Day. Add a little bit of water, and that's your concentrate. Ah, look at that. It's a red, and that's what I'm going to stain this with. Please make sure you wear the gloves. Otherwise, I did this with blue one time. It looked like a Smurf for a week. Look at this.
No!
Now that's what I call brilliant. And this could serve as a little jewelry cabinet, or, you know, something nice like
Stash.
bills. You can put your bills in here. Why don't I use the brush?
You just throw your bills in the toilet.
I don't even open them anymore. There we go. That's a pretty red. And you want to make sure that you get in the inside here. I'm not going to do the whole inside of the cabinet, but you want to get at least where the drawer is going to cover. See, when you put this in, you want to make sure that's all colored in here. And then you put the drawer. Look at that drawer. And we'll do the little knobbies. The little knobbies we'll do a different color. Maybe leave them natural, or we can do them black,
Hurry up, we got lots more to show
or
'em.
do them yellow.
Oh, there's nothing like a filing cabinet that when it's filled up, you put in a single file. Well, I guess you'll just open one drawer at a time. Before I start to stain the outside, I'm just going to put a spit coat of shellac on the inside. Why? 1, to seal the wood, and 2, I'm not going to waste good stain on the inside. Who would do that? Who would do that?
Not me.
Martha would do that. Martha would have Luis do that. So I put my spit coat aside because I finished. And now I go to the universal yellow can, and we'll start with the golden oak on the top of the file cabinet. It's a lovely stain. And of course, I'll follow along with a lovely wipe of towels.
Get all that stuff on there.
Yeah, okay, Pop.
Just pour it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only I could have buried you with my real father at the same day.
You're a hateful person. Bitter and hateful.
My father, he died in the saddle. Died folding laundry. God bless him.
Was he smoking a cigar?
No, he wasn't. He gave up cigars so he would live longer. He got one Social Security check and dropped dead. The government made a lot of money on him. And now to you, Joe.
Hey, I got this little air cabinet, and look at this. See this? First thing you want to do with pine, and a lot of people write in about end grain. This is the end grain. See, top. This is the top of the surface, the end of the board. Now, if you stain that, I'm going to use is it's a gel stain. And if you use any kind of stain, oil stain or a gel stain, and you put it on the end grain, see how dark it gets? Whew, that looks ugly. Because up here, it's going to be a lot lighter. See? So you got dark end grain and a light top. But if you take the 3-pound cut direct from the can shellac, and you shellac the end grain, let it dry, and then sand it, when you stain with the gel stain, or any other stain for that matter, you rub it in, and then you rub the end grain. See?
And for any of you chess players
It's
out
a lot
there,
more even and harmonious.
the
I would
chess players
say.
amongst you must know about the end grain problem.
Do you see that? Uh-huh. Oh, he gets an ah, and I get whistles, and I get nothing. They're all trained. There you go. And I did the same thing with the door over here, see? The end grain on the panels. I just sanded them, and I can apply this with a brush. Get everything smushed in there. And rub it. And it's a fine finish. Look.
It's called fine finishing. Oy, plastic.
Look, this goes in here. See?
It's pine. They call it a desk. We call it a table. I guess it would be a table, except they put this desk drawer in it that's 1 inch deep, big enough for just a single pencil.
Or several rows of sushi.
Number 2, Ticonderoga.
Okay.
So we're going to use the...
No, that's
That's not the stain.
the stain.
This is the stain. Two-tone effect.
We're going to put on the top my burnt sienna special walnut mix, the Joe stain. I'm going to do the top, the legs in the drawer, and the apron, which is this part here, will be a darker color. Okay, here's the stain. Now you can see a lot of knots.
What's your stain?
Same stain. You can see a lot of knots on this. There are a lot of, this is knotty pine, of course. That's why there's knots. But
Hence the name.
a lot of people might say, well, you didn't put any sealer over that. What about all that sap that's going to come out? You know, it's gonna. Well,
Shut up.
that sap comes out of older, cheaper cuts of pine.
And older people.
Hey, could you do that edge for me?
What, this edge?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, your cheaper cuts of pine that are used for furring strips and stuff still have that oozing sap. Ain't nothing like sap when it oozes out.
Keep my family out of this.
And you just look, just gonna pour this on.
Of course.
It's a lot easier that way.
Norm's using electric stain this year.
Hey, do the legs over there. Let's see how the legs look.
Do the edge, do the drawer, do the legs.
I just asked you to paint it. I didn't ask you to do it.
If you ever asked me to do it, the answer would be no.
You
Despite what
knucklehead.
the email says.
There we go.
There we are. The sound of the satisfied Mo Howard.
There we are.
There we are. There
Now
we
look,
are.
this is the top. Now we do this.
I'm not going to do the inside. That'll just be spit coated, just like with the filing cabinet.
Now we get the darker front part here, the apron, with the Van Dyke brown stain. It's a very dark stain. This will give you a two-toned effect. See, and the drawl will go into that slot right there.
Draw. It's called the draw.
The drawl. We'll put the L in there. Where did you grow up?
There's a debate on whether I did it all.
There we are. Did you just burp?
No, I did not.
That's not. Now you did.
Well, that was a burp.
Now you did. And remember, wear gloves with this stuff. Protect your hands. Oh, I beat myself again. Oh, there we go. Now, we're going to spray some lacquer on this aniline dye. Okay, here's the aniline dye. And it's all applied and it's dry. And when you spray something like this, you can do it. It's small enough so you can do it with a spray can. And to ensure that you get a nice even finish, what I suggest, rather than spraying the whole thing like this, is doing a side at a time. For instance, you would lay this down like this here, put the mask on. I'm just going to hold it here. Okay? And spray like this.
Remember, when using any sprays, solvents, or things, you must wear not a dust mask, but a respirator with removable filters. Get the piece out of the house. Or open the windows, have a series of fans blowing out. This concludes the anti-lawsuit proportion of our program.
Now, what you do is you let that sit just like that for about an hour. And then you come back and you flip it to the other side, you do the other side, then you lay it face down and you do the front frame. Then you pick it up and you do the top. And here's the drawers too. You spray a drawer like this, one of the drawers. And the knobs, these are the little knobbies. And with these, we're just gonna paint these with a black Japan color and let them dry. And afterwards, you get a pretty little drawer just like this.
I have one prepared for you already.
See that?
You see?
Isn't that a kick? Now, I bid you peace. Go and see Ed and see what he is doing.
Craig, the frugal Craig. Continuing with our chair and the natural finish, I've got some finishing wax. This is a satin wax.
And it's from Finland.
It's from, yes, that's right. That's why they call it a
Finishing wax, right.
And I poured some onto some 4-0 steel wool, and I'm rubbing it onto the maple. That, again, has just been sealed and let dry. Remember, we just sealed it with the shellac. It's honeyed, and now I follow with a paper towel just to get off the excess.
You want that so smooth, mister, you're going to slip right off of it.
Yep, I'll just pour a little bit on there. I'll just get it around by turning it this way and that way. No, actually, I'll just rub it in. And, of course, you want to rub it in a little bit. So
You love to rub it in, don't you?
I love to rub it in, and it gets into the grain all like that. Remember, don't go in from the rear like this unless you're sure you can get back out. You always want to go from the front in a big chair like this, on a big seat.
And get a pillow for that chair, too, especially on the back.
I'll wipe it off and I'll be done.
Well, this is all dry. The gel stain is dried, and now we're going to use the gel varnish, which is applied in the same way. You just rub it on and rub it off. This is... That stuff is thick, let me tell you.
It's Uncle George's favorite varnish.
Now, when you apply the gel varnish, no special technique, just like the stain. When I apply it, I use the brush to apply into the corners. And then spread it around with the, hey, you got any paper towels over there, Chief? Good catch. And no applause, no whistles, no nothing. Gotta ask for it all the time. There we go. And you just apply this and you rub it in. And that's how easy a gel varnish is. Let it dry, you can apply a second coat. Let's do this over here. What we did before. Do a top. There. Ho, ho, ho. Franz Klein. I must do markings. Lots of black marks. There we go. Ed, go over. What are you doing?
I thought Franz Klein was from New Mexico. I don't know.
No.
You sure? I'm putting on another coat of shellac. That'll seal it, and it'll impart an additional honey color. Watch as I make my pass over the top. Oh, isn't that nice?
What are you going to make over the top?
A pass.
Oh.
This is Uncle George's favorite piece.
Wait, that can't be Uncle George's favorite piece if this was.
No, that's his favorite varnish. This is his favorite piece.
I thought it was Aunt Millie, huh?
So all we'll do is we'll slop this on all over the place, and we'll sand lightly again, and that'll impart the lovely honey color. And look, I've already done this side. I've done this side for you. Look at this. I just need the helmet with the spike on top.
I'm laying on a lacquer here. See?
Of course you are.
It's a brushing lacquer. And
Which would make sense, but since you are.
I'm laying it on with a brush, a nice $40 brush, because they said, please don't spray again.
Right, because 4 people had to retire because of brain damage. That's this week.
Now, the table dried, the stain we put on it dried, and I put a spit coat of shellac on it. Normally, I don't put a spit coat of shellac between a varnish or lacquer coat on a table surface. That's if there's food going to be served on it. But since this is going to be a desk in my house, it's going to be a
Somebody's
desk.
house.
I just want to put the lacquer on it. And you might see in this container that it's got a little bit of the brown color. That's why I don't like brushing lacquer over the stain.
Is this the house you live in now or the one you're going to move to?
Yeah. And that Ed's putting on.
I'm putting varnish on the legs because I'm going to eat off the legs.
Right.
And Joe, don't forget, in the middle of the desk when you move to your new house, a big red button that says end.
End.
It's when you want to stop an argument. You just press end.
The big giant red button, like when you got a big phlegm ball in your mouth and you're on the radio, you hit that big red button so nobody
can hear you go.
But our former mayor, Mayor Rizzo.
Mayor Rizzo. He was the mayor.
He used to have a radio show, and he would like, and he couldn't find that button. It was pretty disgusting.
Imagine Richard Daley, only not as intellectual. And Mayor Rizzo would say, when I was mayor, the criminals were afraid of the police.
The police. Now,
so was everybody else, by the way, when he was mayor.
Now, when this lacquer dries, you'll be able to sand it down lightly with some 400 paper, buff it with some steel wool, throw on a paste wax, and that's why I like this lacquer so much. Get a whole finish done in one day.
Likes it so much.
That's what all the nuns used to tell me.
Hey, look! All the unfinished furniture is finished and also done.
In a short time, 5 projects, and here's the before.
A group shot, all white.
And the after.
Now it's brown with a little red.
Let's go around the clock here. What do you got there?
Clockwise by turns. The maple, not pine, the lonely maple chair, which was done in a natural finish, shellac, then oiled. Very slippery. You slide right out onto the floor.
We have the beautiful little cabinet here that used to be a plain piece of pine. Now it's got a nice electric red finish. Oh, look.
Look, we even put the...
Parrot.
We even put the felt inside.
I could felt that, yeah. And then underneath that, we got the desk, two-tone, sienna, and the dark around the apron.
And the filing cabinet, which was done with the golden oak and shellacked and oaked and shellacked. Very nice.
And this thing with the gel stain, you know, they're supposed to be
easier to do.
Than saving, but I prefer a brush, I think.
Yeah, we won't be doing a commercial anytime soon, I have a feeling. So I'm Ed Feldman.
And I'm Joe Lario, going to take you out with a nice little dance while Ed does a fiddle.
Be nice.
To your furniture.
Yes. Hit it, boy.
Let's go.
Coming up next, Bob Vila's home again. Join Mr. Fix-It himself for 2 back-to-back shows, adding contemporary convenience to antique homes, maintaining the class and charm. Stay with us here on TLC.